It's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Hareld, and Araceli Aviles. And now, let's dish.
Why, hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we give you a full scoop of this week's episodes of Peacock's #1 hit award-winning soap opera, Days of Our Lives. Standing in for Tony today.
A full scoop? What's a full scoop?
I don't know.
A full ladle. A full ladle.
Let me get through this. Welcome to our show. Thank you for joining us. If you are new to our show, please follow us on social media. We're a Dishin Days show on Facebook, at Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on X and Threads. We can also be found right here on our YouTube channel. If you're watching us, please subscribe and like our videos. We appreciate every button press. And please, if you cannot if you cannot join us live, make sure you follow us. You follow us afterwards, and you can also join our exclusive members only page for I'm not even sure the price anymore.
$4.99.
$4.99
a month.
$4.99 a month. It's very easy, very cheap. If you're not already a member, please join us, like us. We have exclusive videos that you can check out, which include our weekly tributes to our fans with Justin Harold's really comprehensive look at his extended version of Those Were the Days, as well as my segment, The SS. So please come joining us. And then if you cannot follow us live, make sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And you can take us along with you wherever you may go, whether it be the beach, the gym, etc. Yes. And make sure you follow our friend James Lott Jr. on his station at JLJ Media on YouTube. Support. We're going to be very busy in these upcoming days with lots of Emmys content, lots of other soap opera content can be found over there with his coverage of Beyond the Gates, Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless, and General Hospital. If you need your updated soap opera fix there. Yes. And I won't say how old.
If you do join the membership, there's a delay on my end, so
okay.
This is going to happen all day. But if you join the membership, watch the welcome video. There's apparently a lot of good info there. It'll tell you, how things work and maybe answer some questions for you. So
very important that you watch the welcome video if you subscribe to our members only page for very clear and concise directions. So you have been warned multiple times. Tony, make sure that we remind you often.
And hello to Mama Moore. Who told Tony he could be off today? Tony did.
Job.
Well, his job told his boss at another job told him, you need to be here. So unfortunately, yes, Tony is a working man today, so that is why he's not with us.
To be fair, we will all be working Friday.
Yes, and on that note, there will not be a show next Sunday. We can just get this out of the way. Next Sunday we will be off, but we will hopefully have some content to be posted from the daytime Emmys, since all of us will be there. All of us, James Lott Jr. will be there as well. So yeah, we'll be a long but fun day. We have to check in at noon, and the show is supposed to end at 7.
Yes. Be a long day. I'm wearing my comfy shoes.
And since it's not on television and there's no time constraints, we'll see how close they end it. We'll see how close they get to that 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Or if we'll still be sitting there at 9 p.m. It'll be fun though. It'll be a fun day. Just a long day. Day.
Yeah, we'll cover that a little more in detail later in the show to remind you all. But yes, the daytime memories will be this Friday. So we will be covering that. So we will not be here next Sunday. So, but you will see us around if you follow us on social media. So make sure to follow us on our social media platforms, as I previously stated, for what's sure to be a lot of chaotic behind the scenes content.
And then if you want to watch the Emmys, you can watch them at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time at watch.theemmys.tv.
Yes, Friday. It's Friday, not Sunday, guys. It's Friday.
Friday the 17th. Friday the 17th. And who asked about something else? What days? Oh, that was Annette. And as of now, there is no Day of Days.
No Day of Days.
But as of now, don't count on it.
Yeah.
And that is news and gossip. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So last year, for people wondering, last year was the official 60th celebration kickoff Day of Days. That we were, if you go back and watch our videos, we were celebrating the 60th anniversary as we kicked off the 60th year. And that content, because they had already been well into filming that. And so that content will conclude kind of this year with a big to-do on screen.
We don't know. There hasn't been an official announcement. We don't definitely know, but it is October the 12th, 2015, and there hasn't been an announcement yet.
Yeah.
So take that as you will.
The cast has been promoting things lately, and not once has anyone ever mentioned a Day of Days this year. So I think it's pretty safe to say they're not having one this year.
Unless it's going to be a real race to the finish for it. Oh, 2025, not 2015. Thank you, Annette, for correcting me.
It's 2025.
2025. I want to be 35 again.
Yes. If we sound a little bit chaotic today, please forgive us. Our minds are kind of like pre-prepping all the stuff we have to do this week. So bear with us. But the show must go on. So what did we think of this week's episode of Days of Our Lives?
I thought this was a great week. I thought there was a lot of engaging things happened this week. Just a reference, I sat down Wednesday and I was like, oh, I'll watch Monday's episode and see what was up. I ended up watching Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday all at once, just because I was so into what was happening. And I gotta say, Rachel Boyd was like my star of the week.
Yeah, I really liked this week. I thought there was, again, a lot of engagement, a lot of things going on. Certain storylines that have been annoying, I think were like maybe, or characters that were annoying were still annoying but well acted this week. So like, I appreciated that. So yeah, good week.
Yes, we're gonna have we'll have thoughts. So without further ado, let's kick off the show. It is now time to start
Dishin
Days.
Yes. Set it and forget it.
I do not have an hourglass, but you can imagine. All right. So our first storyline of the week is who is the father, as we came up to a pretty definitive line in the sand that Tate is not the father of Sophia's baby, as many suspected, as many of our fans were kind of hounding and sounding the alarm for months and months and months. Y'all were right.
Well, I was going to say, technically, he's not the father to the Firehouse baby.
Okay.
We're still, you know what I mean? It again, I'm sure it's Sophia's baby, but it seems like that can also be a question too.
I'm not sure it's much of a question mark, but I see your point. Let's go with it.
Well, they're testing the DNA, so that was a plot point. So I'm assuming, you know.
Okay. Then the next, but in any case,
you're testing it right.
No. But I don't think that's a plot point like that we need to question necessarily. I think it's more of a general just point that they made as a workaround for Kayla and Sarah so that they didn't break confidentiality.
Well, actually, that was one of my theories, was that it's not her baby either. So that's why I think a lot of people thought that too, that maybe it's not her baby either. So it's, maybe she had a
maybe
break or something. So that's why I think
could there have been 2 firehouse babies that night?
I would think that Javi would have brought them both in at the same time if that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but in any case, the facts as we know them are that Tate is not the father of that firehouse baby. We can assume that if it is confirmed to be Sophia's by the DNA that she gave Sarah, that he was never the father to begin with. So then that leaves the question of who is the father. Now, our audience has been very, very, very vocal about who they think is the father. Do we think, I will ask my fellow gentlemen here, do we actually think that it is Aaron?
I mean, what we know about soaps, it's probably, I would imagine it going that way, even though it could go several other directions that maybe not as predictable. But I mean, it's the easy option.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not Aaron and they do something a little bit more interesting. But yeah, I think the predictable or lazy option is just to randomly make it Aaron, even though they've gone out of their way to specifically show us that Sophia and Aaron have never had anything. And then even remember that conversation they had in the square like 6 months ago or something, or 4 months ago. It was like, it seemed to me like they were putting a period on that theory that they didn't do anything. So again, if it's Aaron, it seems like a little bit of a retcon, maybe.
I mean, there's never been any kind of indication that there was anything like I think there was a scene, where they hung out once or something, but and I guess maybe that could be what they use to write, like, oh, they hung out, but hey, they also, they also happened to have sex that day and just never had any conversation about it afterwards. We're never awkward, but there is that Aaron stayed away. Aaron did, and under the helping the mom in Canada, he was away for a while. They could write it that, that's why he took the opportunity to stay away because he was nervous someone was going to find out that he and Sophia, and that it was like a betrayal to Tate or something.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why I'm thinking there's so much that they can do to set it up that way that it would be really easy to do. But the what am I trying to say? The twist would be if it's actually not Sophia, if it's not Sophia's baby either. That would be an interesting twist. But someone in the chat room, I think Annette, said we definitely know it's hers, but I don't remember how we definitely know it's hers.
Other than the fact that she said it's hers, but I think that, like I just said, that there's a theory that she's not the mother either, and that she had some sort of break, psychosis or something, and then she's pretending, or that the baby died that night. That's what I originally thought. Like, her baby that she gave birth that we saw died that night, and then this is her having some sort of a mental break, which I don't know. To me, it all seems more interesting than Aaron being the father. Whether God forbid she was attacked, unfortunately, by someone else, or there's a theory of incest. There's also theories of, the baby isn't hers and she had a break. I don't know. All those things sound far more interesting than just making Aaron the father.
Yeah, I think the it's more interesting. I think the consensus among us is that timing wise, making Aaron the father would make sense, but from a perspective of writing, it seems a little lazy, especially given the few interactions that these characters have had. There's been, like we said, there's been no indication.
Stefano doesn't need any more children. No.
Can we?
What are you guys talking about? Sophia, like, is there some Stefano, stuff hanging around?
Look, I wouldn't be surprised, but can we limit this pregnancy to the living? Can we limit the candidates to currently alive?
Listen, Aaron is only slightly more realistic than Stefano. It's still
this is true.
Not that far fetched.
Okay, so I just remembered how they presented without presenting it that was that the DNA test matched Sophia. Sophia's DNA matched baby Tesoro's, because at the end of the show, when Kayla and what's her face, Sarah were talking to Brady, they're like, from the results of this test, we can only tell you. They said it in a way.
Yeah, no, they said it without saying it. Yeah,
they said it without saying it. So,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Regardless, I think so the consensus is that it would be kind of lazy to make Aaron the father of the baby. Any of these other twists that we have pulled out that are out there in the universe, I think would make more sense. Not to mention, it would be a greater credit to the character of Sophia than she slept with his best friend also. Yeah. That doesn't do any good to the character of Sophia.
Mm-hmm. Or that like it's also the thing of like they do this trope where how are they going to explain it now? Because when was it Sarah who told her that the DNA didn't match Tate? She was shocked at first, but then she considered the other option. Whoever, we'll find out whoever the other option is. It's looking like Aaron, but it's always like, well, I mean, it's simple math, people. Like, how do you?
Yeah.
But also, where's the father? So if it's Aaron, so Aaron didn't question either, or like maybe it's like you said, Michael, like, so he's intentionally now deceiving Tate, because then it's sort of like, oh, did he have a drunken one night stand with Sophia that he forgot about? Then that's slightly more innocent versus I'm letting my best friend go through all this trauma with his baby mama, and I'm not saying anything, knowing I could possibly it's a little sticky.
Yeah, it's also sticky. It's kind of it's sticky. It's kind of lazy. It would require, if they were to go this way, it would require a lot of explanation.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, for sure. And yeah. And again, there's just so many other ways you could go with it. And what's bugging me about it, and I know this is just how the storytelling is now, but like these things are revealed. It's like we as the audience know that Tate's not the father. Then Sarah kind of finds out, and then it's like, okay, tell everybody, like everybody else figuring out, like Tate doesn't even know. No one, and I know like Sarah can't call Tate. Yeah. I know that would probably be sticky, but Brady didn't tell Tate. Like he's known, right?
He was waiting on the second test to confirm, and then he was going to tell him, because he knew that Tate was kind of spinning out, so he wanted very clear, definitive answers before telling Tate anything.
But wouldn't that be like his first, once he got those second results, wouldn't the first thing he do take out his cell phone and go beep 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 beep?
Well, that was just Friday.
Yeah,
that was that was just on Friday.
I guess
because then it led the conversation with Kayla and Sarah, so he's still there theoretically.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'm getting confused about when everyone's finding out things or figuring things out for themselves.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of that happening too lately.
Yeah, I think
like,
it's because
they'll be talking here, they're like, oh, like that's been happening with Johnny and Chanel a lot.
Yeah, that I think was probably the surprise of the week, was just how fast Johnny and Chanel got there. For having been so out of the loop, they got there quick.
I know they did.
Yeah, it's those young 20-something brains. They don't got kids. They got their jobs, but that's it. And they're still, they're still sharp. They're still, young themselves. So, yeah.
That was nice for me. I do agree it happened fast, but I liked it. I liked that we didn't get another sense of miscommunication with everybody, and we didn't get 3 weeks of them being pissed at Holly or talking about her, and then I like that it everyone sort of sat down for a second and like let the anger and stuff subside, and then like really it's like, okay, let's actually approach this intelligently. What makes sense here and what doesn't make sense here? So
yeah.
yeah,
I actually really
like
liked that they went to Holly and exonerated her quickly.
Wait.
That Johnny and Chanel went, as soon as they figured out what had happened, they went to Holly and said, "We believe you. You didn't do this. Just so you know, you didn't do this." Because Holly was about to skip town under the impression that she had embarrassed herself, that she created all these problems for all these people. And they immediately, as soon as they figured it out, they immediately went to her and said, no, you were set up.
Yeah.
And then only right before that did Holly find out that Sophia was in the room all night, then spent the night there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just a matter of everybody putting the pieces together separately and now coming together to be like, okay, Sophia's pulling all the strings here.
And like we've been saying the past few weeks, like Sophia's not like some she's not a Sammy. She's not like some devious mastermind who's like thinking 10 steps ahead or plot. These plots of these sort of like deceptions of hers and plots of hers have been very amateur, we'll say, even though she's like kept them up and kept people on their toes. They're not, they're not well thought out. She's sort of taking it step by step. So I like the fact that it's taking that, it makes sense that people would put it together rather quickly. Or I even like when Brady said, like, it's looking like Sophia. I can't prove it, but with everything that's happened with her, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yes. Now, given all of the information that is currently out that people have already pretty much put together, it all still leaves the matter of baby Tesoro. And where is he going to go? So say, Tate's out of the picture. He is informed that the baby was never his to begin with. Okay, he's free of that problem. Thank God, he didn't need it. That we still have, and Johnny and Chanel say they can clear things up with social services. Okay, again, still leaves the matter of what to do with the baby. Where is he supposed to go? Do we still think that Johnny and Chanel should be contenders for this child? Even knowing now that they know that this was the baby that they were originally supposed to adopt and then backed out of?
Sure.
I don't see why not.
Okay with them.
Yeah.
Okay,
I must be the only one that's like,
Wait, you think because he backed out originally, you're saying that should disqualify them?
I don't think it should disqualify them from adopting. I think that if they're ready to, I've always thought if they're ready to adopt, if they as a couple feel that they can adopt, that's great. But I feel like this situation, this child has it's become far too complicated. It's become far too complicated, far too sticky. Especially since like the mother still lives in town, the biological mother still lives in town, and at this point she's made it pretty clear she doesn't like you. So even though she doesn't have parental rights, even if you managed to adopt and everything went smoothly with the court system, you would still have a situation where the adoptive mother has voiced extremely strong objections and could make life very difficult for you.
I don't think there's any more. Okay, so with that being said, are you for our Javi and Leo?
If that is what Sophia wanted, and I'm not saying that Sophia has any moral or legal rights to say what is best for the baby at this point, because she really doesn't. But that doesn't mean that any potential adoptive parents can just discount her feelings, because you're then raising a child for its entire life. Say one day that child grows up and asks about every adopted child eventually asks about their biological parents. What was the situation back in the day? And if they get the story, this woman was a mess. She didn't want us to raise you, blah, blah. It just becomes a mess. Not that anybody's origin story is ever clear cut, but it doesn't necessarily need to be this messy. And maybe Sophia has no idea that Leo and Javi are interested, and maybe she would have less objections, or maybe she would go with her original plan. She would want the baby to be adopted by strangers. That part is up in the air. We don't know what her feelings are about any of those options. We do know how she feels about Chanel and Johnny.
But that can eventually be explained. Like if they're going the route that Sophia became unstable based on her, traumatic experience giving birth by herself and all of that, it can be explained that she did that because she wasn't technically in her right mind. And if she goes to get help, they could kind of course correct with Johnny and Chanel and say like, okay, we understand now that she was making trouble because she wasn't in her right mind. And just one more point.
Yeah.
You mentioned like, oh, well, she's still in town and she can make trouble. She can decide to make trouble for Javi and Leo if she chooses to. So like with that, if that's the rationale, then you would think that the baby shouldn't be adopted in Salem, should be adopted somewhere where Sophia is not.
Yes. That would, I mean, I think that would be best for all, because at the end of the day, it's about what's best for the baby, not who had claim to him first or who has claim to him now or back then or whatever. It's about the baby's already here. The baby is a few months old now. The baby is growing. He's not going to stop growing. So while they're all trying to figure this out, this child is still growing up and needs stability. Now it's like somebody needs to figure out that we can't wait. He cannot wait for all of these people to get it together.
Well, I mean, has there been a stop? The only stop has been Sophia herself. I mean, Johnny and Chanel. I mean, they seem like once they realized that the cutoff for her to claim him again was up, then he's up for adoption, and it seemed like that hasn't really stalled. I mean, they've mentioned that lots of people want to adopt the baby. Johnny and Chanel went to Paulina to kind of get some special circumstances, and this is sort of where they're at. It's theoretically been the next day, right, from their interview.
I think so.
Yeah. So I mean, things are moving along.
They're moving along quickly in terms of people finding out, but anticipating the mess that this is, it could drag out longer than this kid has time for. And people say, like, oh, he's a baby, he won't remember. But this baby is growing. He's hitting milestones in his life. He's reaching points in his development where he should be bonding with permanent caretakers, like he's already bonded with Leo and Javi. That's not to say that they are necessarily ready to be parents, but this needs to be figured out where he's not going to be going back and forth.
Agreed. Going back to the original question of Johnny and Chanel being an adoption option, I don't think the fact that it's a messy situation is their fault entirely.
No.
There is a little bit. I just don't think that should be the rationale to keep being like, no, you can't have this baby. Maybe we can find you another one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I also think like I don't think Sophia gets a say in any of this. No, or I'll say this. I don't know what say she would have had in a traditional sense in this, if in terms of giving up, not giving up. I want to stop saying that. In terms of placing your baby in, so essentially she put him in foster care, and now it's their decision to decide. Sort of like the personal adoption thing is sort of off the table now, since she essentially has no rights now, which, her choice, which is fine. He's in a good place. He's not being harmed, whatever. I also think that the idea, like, I probably feel differently if I felt like Sophia had real conflict with Johnny and Chanel. I think the conflict stemmed from him saying, rightfully so, I'm not ready at this time to be a parent. Yes, that disappointed her. I don't know if that rises to the level of I now get a say to sort of, I don't know. This seems like a developing pattern with Sophia. You piss her off, or you make her angry or jealous, and it's my baby now. You're not having any rights to that. I get to control it. I don't think she ever had any control. I think a lot of this has been delusional on her part, unfortunately, probably because of the trauma she suffered. I slightly put Johnny and Chanel over Leo and Javi, but I think wherever this child ends up between the two of them is fine. You know what I mean?
So, if this goes the way that we think it's going, where, Sophia's getting backed into a corner, everyone's kind of figuring out what she did, that she's kind of pulling the strings, the fact that it's not Tate's father, if she ends up being, away for a while, and then the storyline could be a custody battle between Javi and Leo and Chanel. That could be what goes on.
Or Aaron too, if he's
or Aaron,
father.
or whoever the father might be, maybe the third party. It could be like a custody, and then they could also make it, like I said last week, like a losing Isaiah type storyline where the baby does get settled somewhere, and then once Sophia comes back into the picture, wants the baby back, and then that could lead to this could lead to years of
oh, please no. Please no. Please no. For on behalf of Baby T, please no.
Because it's soap opera. This is not a real baby, Araceli. It's a soap opera baby.
I know.
Soap opera babies heal quicker.
I will say this though.
Tell that to Will.
I will say that if Aaron is the father,
well adjusted.
I think he what?
I said Will's actually well adjusted.
Yes, it's not like he shot someone when he was a teenager. That didn't happen.
That was EJ's fault. I'm just kidding. I don't know whose fault it was.
I will say, I think if Aaron is the dad, then he to me, the rights revert to him as the father.
This is true.
He did not make the decision to place the baby. Whatever, we'll find out whatever he knew or didn't know in the future. If he is the father, we'll see. But if that's the case, then I think it resides with him first. And then if he wants to relinquish his parental rights, or if he thinks I want to do this with the support of Kat or my family or whatever, then I think he should be able to. I would put him, if he is the father, above Johnny and Chanel, and then Javi and Leo. That's sort of my ranking. As of now.
No, that's not even your ranking, Justin. That's the law.
Well, yeah.
Because if he,
not in terms of Johnny and Chanel. I mean, like I'm talking. No. In terms of Johnny and Chanel, it is because it's if Aaron is revealed to be the father and he goes through the process and takes the paternity test and everything, it's right. Then and he did not give up his parental rights. Then yes, he has the right to claim that child as his own, and this is all a moot point. Yeah, I'm talking about in terms of Johnny and Chanel over Leo and Javi. That's my personal choice. That's not a legal matter. Yeah, I'm saying the ranking number is my personal choice.
Yeah. So it's just
one more thing I want to mention about this and why I said that Rachel Boyd was like my star of the week this week. That those scenes with Sarah, her and Lindsay Godfrey, like those scenes between them. Starting in the pub where she was like, make time, bitch, and dragged her ass to the park. Sophia actually showed up after she was done with her shift, and those scenes with the two of them, and then when they cut back to Sophia after the confrontation and Sarah saying she knew it wasn't Tate's baby, like the the face, but then the one tear, I was like, oh shit, okay, girl. Then they cut back to Sarah. Then they cut back to her other side, another tear. I was like, okay, Rachel Boyd, she's feeling this, and it was great. And that's, I think, at the point I texted you guys where I was like, this week is really good.
Yes. We love Rachel Boyd, and actually, it's because we love Rachel Boyd so much as Sophia that she brings such depth. To like, you feel like this character has been traumatized, that we're like, we kind of really don't want her to be the father because of that, because it's like it wouldn't really be nice.
Yeah, I think she brings a lot of sympathy for Sophia. I think if it was played by a lesser actor, we just would just generally hate Sophia and wouldn't see any sort of
It's so easy to
it'd be easy to disregard her. But I think what she brings to it, and a lot of people have made comments of like, is it the writing? Is it the switching of the actor? So I think Sophia has been all over the place emotionally since we met her, and there's been some extenuating circumstances with that. But I think in terms of Rachel's performance, I think I don't think it's been like she's played it this way and then she automatically switched. I think she's given us layers throughout the performance.
I think it's very intense. I think everything she's been doing is very intentional.
Yeah.
Also, Rachel Boyd watches my Instagram stories, so thank you, Rachel Boyd.
Oh.
I don't think she likes them, but she doesn't like them, but she watches them because I have no life. And I look at that stuff. So
yeah, we see you. Yeah, we see you when you follow us. We appreciate it because we appreciate you.
And last week, any even inkling of a thought that Holly was going to be leaving?
No, I figured this was like. Knowing how things go, it's like, okay, she's leaving. And I remember this has been done so many times where a character's leaving because things just aren't right and she has an out, and then we start finding out everything. It's like, no, you can't leave yet. Like, I don't think she's actually going to leave.
Yeah. Though I still say, and I will stand by this to my dying day, because they did they did the same thing on Summer I Turned Pretty. Please, young women, young girls, quote me on this. It is stupid. It is really stupid to give up studying and living in France for a boy. It's stupid. I can't even be kind about it.
Theo says.
Period. He has said it. Period.
No disagreement there. I mean, not at that age, too. Not at that age. Yes.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I'd even though I know it's probably not going that route, and I love having Holly and Rachel Puzemis. Every time I hear that name, who I first heard Rachel Puzemis' last name from, and it's stuck in my head. Every time I even see her name, I hear him say it, was not Jonathan Taylor Thomas. God, what was his name? Jamie Martin Mann. When we had him on the show. I knew it was 3 names. When he was on the show, he said her full name. He said, Ashley. I was like, oh, that's how you pronounce her name. That has stuck with me. Every time I read her name, I hear him say Puzemis. But no, I love Ashley Puzemis. I love having her as Holly, so I don't want her to leave the canvas. But to Tia Araceli's point, yes, live your life when you're young. Don't give up your life for the D.
Yeah.
I can't believe it took us all this time to make the Jamie Martin Mann, Jonathan Taylor Thomas comparison.
I was like, why is that name? Anyway, I got there. Old man Michael got there.
I mean, he does kind of look like a mini Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I can see the resemblance.
The hair a little bit. Yeah.
Long to get there.
By the way, hi Jamie Martin. Yeah. We love you.
Yes, we love you, miss you. We hope you're doing very well. Last we heard he was on Broadway, I think.
He's still there. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. Like, we knew you when, dude, and we wish you well. We still remember you. We wish you well.
Yes.
So I think that wraps up that storyline.
Wrap that up now.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. And now we have the 40th anniversary of Miss Jennifer Devereaux. Also, the 40th anniversary for Miss Missy Reeves. When we look back at Jennifer's journey, 40 years in Salem. Wow. It kind of makes you look back, and a lot of people are really hitting milestones this year. This is kind of like the 40 club, where you realize, like, yes, the 80s were definitely like Day's heyday, But then you start seeing, oh, this person hit the anniversary, and then this person, and they were all kind of almost at the same time. Yeah. So
next year it's 50 for Deidre.
Yeah, next year it's 50 for Deidre. So it's really cool to look back on everybody's journey in the scenes. So what do we think that they before we get to the modern day stuff to present day stuff, do we think that they what did we think of the flashbacks that they used?
I like the stuff with the Hortons, like Alice and Tom. I thought was nice. It's always nice to see them again. It's nice to remember Jennifer when she came to the show. She was a little bit not troubled, but she was a little bit
misguided.
Misguided, yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, than she is now. Which makes sense considering her parents. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I like that stuff. I love Jack and Jennifer. I do. I like not only the characters but the actors, but I've never been the biggest like Jack and Jennifer stan for me. So for that, I could have taken and left a lot of that. I wished we got a little bit more other things. And I understand probably like, behind the scenes stuff. A lot of times when you show clips like that, you have to pay other actors. So a lot of times, if you're wondering why sometimes when we get these anniversaries and they just happen to focus on the one person or the relationship that the person has with someone who's still on the show, that's probably why. So I think I would have appreciated maybe if they had the budget or if they can hand wave it, maybe a lot of Jennifer's either other romances or a lot of her other friendships or just career things. Like, remember when she had the talk show in the 90s when her and Jack had that? Like, I don't know, stuff like that I would have appreciated a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was nice seeing, it's always nice seeing flashbacks and but yeah, there was a lot more. There's been a lot more to Jennifer Rose and I know they mentioned Emilio and Frankie like by name, but actually seeing them or some of maybe her other love interests that have come and go. And I know I know some other people have played Jack and they probably can't show like Mark Valley and the other guy, and they're not going to show, stuff with Stephanie Cameron. Like that's, because that wasn't the point. It was
definitely not going to show Stephanie.
But even though I love Stephanie Cameron,
I didn't mind Stephanie.
I like, but focusing on Missy Reeves, Jack and Jennifer were very loud. They were both
very quirky. Loud. They were always a quirky couple, which that I always did appreciate. They were not always so straight-laced, I guess, but yeah. I came into the show, just my personal view, I came into the show with Jack and Jennifer being Melissa Reeves and Mark Valley, which was a very different Jack and Jennifer than Missy Reeves and Matt Ashford. Yeah.
Mark Valley's Jack was quieter and just a little more like lower key than Matt Ashford's Jack. So and I think when you come into a couple like that, that's not the originals or like the ones that played them when they like blew up. You just have a little different perspective. But yeah, and then they were in the circus, but I think that was also that was Stephanie Cameron and a completely different.
That was
so
Stephanie and Mark. Yeah,
but yeah, there was just it would have been nice if they could have been more comprehensive with it, but we understand why they kept it focused on like Jack and Jennifer and JJ since he's there, when he was born and they gave him his name.
It was a little funny too because you could tell they were really skirting around things because when you mentioned Frankie, it was like she was relegating it all to high school where it was like, girl, you almost married Frankie right before JJ, like right before you had JJ. You were going to marry Frankie.
No, JJ was a baby. Yeah, actually.
Yeah, and then also, of course, they didn't mention Patrick Lockhart, who delivered JJ. That's where I thought they were going. I thought they were going to mention Patrick for a second, and then I was like, okay, like, yeah, you were born. You're born because another man delivered you, the man who was involved for briefly with your mother. Like,
yeah.
I saw it was funny. They very much like made a zigzag with some of those storylines to like make it fit a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, look. Jack and Jennifer are staples of the show. Missy Reeves is a staple of the show. That being said, this is our show, and this
is our show.
we can be okay with saying that they tend to skirt around a lot of Jack and Jennifer's, shall we say, misdeeds.
So are you talking about the plot now? You're getting into the plot?
I mean, I'm saying historically,
okay,
but also, history lends to today, in which
I mean, and I thinking about it, they wanted to keep it uplifting. They wanted to keep they didn't want to be like, hey, remember when I was in a coma and you went and banged Kate Roberts? Like, of course they're not gonna like bring that shit, you know. Yeah. So I get they wanted to keep it positive, and so and again I get why, but I'm just saying, in my opinion, it would have been nice to see a little more well-rounded, comprehensive look back. But it was nice. What I absolutely did not like about that episode was that we got edged with this couple for over a year. They finally got together, and like a week later, they're done.
Pivoting to Kat and Chad, which, yes, I think we all agree that it dragged out way too long. But if they were going to end them, this was like what?
Talk about taking the slow boat to the sofa. Man.
Yeah.
What's slower than slow?
Like,
So do we think that, first of all, I'm gonna say that like their breakup scene, which funny saying breakup after they were together 3 to 4 days. The breakup scene was very well acted, especially Anna Lynn. Like this is why you pay for Anna Lynn McCord and you get someone like her. Do we think that Chad made quote unquote the right decision regarding this because of Thomas, or do you think he went overboard, or do you think he's overreacting by breaking up with him for Thomas essentially?
I understand why, but I don't agree with it, because that you just because Thomas is pouty about something, I think it would be more fruitful in the long run to actually nurture him a little bit in the situation and have him give him time to grow to accept it. And not just be like, okay, my kid doesn't like it, I have to dump you, because now you're basically letting the child and his feelings control your life, which I don't think is a good thing. But again, I understand it. No, I think he should have don't give in to the child. Exactly, Jen. Thank you.
And as more recent history has shown us, giving in to a Demera child does not always prove to be the right choice.
Rachel and what's his face are gonna, oh my god, they're gonna terrorize that town.
Yes. Okay, so let's be clear. Adults make the decisions about their relationships. Now, adults should definitely take their children's feelings into consideration about their relationships, but that's a big leap from letting your child decide out and out how you're going to spend your love life. And it's an even greater leap to let your in-laws dictate that as well. And now therein lies the line.
And now Jennifer and Julie are going to be like...
Yeah, there's a lot of overstepping bounds here. I agree, Michael. I think that in Araceli, I think there's a way to do this where you're also being sensitive to to this information your child just found out, which can be troubling. So I think like you address that and you work with your child on that, but you don't. It was too much of a drastic reaction to me to be like, Thomas is pissed, he's upset about it. It's not like this has been weeks of them going back and forth. He literally had a freak out over it or threw a tantrum, which is fine. Like, let him have that, but also
he's a child. He's allowed to have a tantrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is also where Jennifer comes in, and it's something I've been saying. They've enmeshed Chad into the Hortons so much that now she walks into the room and everyone knows she should have stepped back from that situation. She completely eclipsed him as the parent, jumping to Thomas's side. She should have been, if she was going to get involved, it should have been, hey, what's going on here? Not, you're upsetting Thomas and look what you did. It was way too accusatory, and it was way too of like, oh, I got him on my side now. Even if it was subconscious, I don't think she walked into the room thinking that, but this is what happens when you enmesh yourself with your, and sad to say, former in-laws. They're not your in-laws anymore. Sad to say, they are the grandparents of your children now.
Yeah.
That's who they are. Yeah.
And yeah, Chad at this point needs to, he's been very good about setting boundaries with his own family, and now he's gonna have to do that with Abby's family too, because this is a line in the sand that he needs to step up. Look, and when he first lost Abby, he needed help, he needed support in raising the kids. He was a mess, obviously, and he took support wherever he could get it. But Chad has he'll never be completely healed from losing Abby, but he has grown, he's matured, he has, you know, he runs the paper, he has managed to put himself back together and has managed to help put his kids back together. And yes, he can be grateful to Abby's family for their role in that, but it's his life. He's still here, he's still living. So he's got to set boundaries the same way that he did with the Demira side of his family.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, he left the Demira house because he didn't want to be involved in their influence, in their chaos, and all of that stuff. And it's like, I think it's time, as much as we liked seeing the Horton house full and like seeing Chad and the Julie relationship, it's got to the point now. I believe he needs to move out, and not in a Costa way. It needs to be, so like you said, setting the boundary. Julie can still be as much part of the kids' lives. They can go over to the Horton house, or she can go over to his place. Like he's not ever going to have his own life if he's living in that house. He is now subjected to everything that they think I mean, we saw with Julie, they had that great conversation where I thought it went really well. And then we had this week, she's grilling him about Kat and where he was. And then she, you know, Jennifer comes around, and then it's like she's reveling in it, you know, a bit. And it's like, okay, it's time to move out now.
Yeah, I mean, he can move across the street. It's not like if they're gonna they're probably inevitably gonna make the argument, oh my god, you're uprooting the children, you're gonna traumatize them, blah blah blah, because they're gonna, you know, that the minute he says something like that, they're gonna guilt him to it. Just like, he could move across the street. Nobody's saying that he needs to rip the kids out of, you know, a stable home or anything like that, but boundaries need to be set. He is the parent, they are not.
Yeah.
I also, there's got to be at least one house in that neighborhood they have been showing, which is the most realistic establishing shot that show uses, by the way. I was like, okay, this is actually the Horton neighborhood. Yes, I buy that completely. There's got to be at least one house in that neighborhood that's for sale. And someone said, it was like, Chad, get a house. You're not poor.
Yeah.
No.
I did cringe when Thomas came. And again, this is Thomas Demira kind of coming into the play, where he's like, where Jennifer was explaining like, oh, I moved in, you know, with my grandparents. It wasn't a good situation with my parents. And then Thomas, little shit, pipes in with, I want to live with, did he say, I want to live with you, or can I live with you?
Did he?
I forget how he worded it. Yeah. Where it was like, Jennifer, he said that.
Yeah.
It was when she like picked him up to hug him. It was like, oh, I want to live with you, or he said, can I live with you? I want to, I forget. And it's like, Jennifer should have put a stop. Again, I know they were reminiscing about that's how the conversation started, but she should have milked that shit right in the bud to be like, oh no, like, you know, you're secure with your dad, you know, you love living with him. I don't like the idea of now Chad and her on opposite sides, and she's like using the kids now. That is sort of making me cringe a bit.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention, another star of the week, Rachel Boyd was my first. Second one, Annalyn McCord. I felt those again. It was like I felt those tears when during the whole breakup and afterward. So yeah, good job, and good luck to her Friday at the Emmys.
Yay! Look, the only reason I think I'm okay with Kat and Chad breaking up or taking a break, we don't know where this is going to go.
Yeah, hopefully it's maybe just a break. Like maybe it's not a breakup.
Yeah, but I'm okay with this for right now because as all of this has been happening, the show has done a very good job of setting up Kat as an established character on the show with a backstory, a career, her siblings. She's got a lot of other stuff going on. If we had to spend all this time and we were still just on the Kat and Chad train alone, then it would have been such a disservice to her. It would have been a disservice to them potentially as a pairing. But she is now established in other ways with her connections to other people, working with Rafe to take down EJ. So there's layers. There's much more to this character. And I hope that one of those layers that they now embed based off of this week's content is that I hope she takes a stand and says, I will never stop being sorry for what I did, but I'm now done apologizing for living my life.
Yeah.
I think she can absolve herself of the guilt
now. Yeah.
But you made a really good point, Araceli, and I'm wondering if the reason that they were so slow with pairing Chad and Kat up was because they wanted to establish that character as more than just Chad's love interest. That's why they were so slow to do it. And then once they knew that, okay, we've established this character so far separate from Chad, now we can have them get together. I wonder if that was like intentional, that they were kind of just being very slow with like the relationship side of Kat so they could develop more of the other side.
Maybe I will say the one thing the part of this storyline that I actually found myself really enjoying, not because of the subject matter, but the way it was acted, was the Jennifer, Kayla, Steve conversation in the pub.
Oh yeah,
it was so well done and so good. It was like, it was funny because I'm hearing the subject matter of Kat versus, do we forgive her or not forgive her, and I'm like rolling my eyes like we're doing this again. But like I was completely like enthralled by that conversation just by the way it was acted that we had. And this is where I credit the new writers, because I feel like we would have never in the past gotten a scene like that. It was Kayla listening to Jennifer sort of freak out and have this, I don't want to say panic attack, but she was getting riled up about it. Their position was, let me tell you what my experience is. I'm going to validate your feelings, but also be the friend, family member to tell you the truth here. And when they hinted about the Steve stuff, they hinted about the Jack stuff. And then she flat out was like, Abigail was no saint either, XYZ. I was like, ooh. But it all made sense and it all worked because I feel like Kayla's the only person who probably could have had that conversation. Maybe Kayla or Hope, maybe, if Hope was around.
Hope would have been the only other.
Very few people can sit down and have that conversation with these three actors, and I thought it was a perfect combination of them.
It was such dynamic writing. It was such a dynamic conversation that really encompassed that I felt that conversation, I think, did more justice to the history of Jennifer Horton than anything else, because guys, it's okay to remind us that these characters have flaws. We don't watch them because they're perfect. We watch them because they stumble and fall, they make mistakes, but they grow into these characters that we can't see. We can't see Salem without seeing them. And but you take the good with the bad. That's how it is. And it would just behoove Jennifer to be reminded of that once in a while.
But I think it's also
no. I do not think that Kate could have had that same conversation.
no, Kate is-
She would have been like, "Bitch, shut up."
yeah, that wouldn't have
Kate
been.
would not have. I understand that they're related in a way, but no, I don't think Kate could have been. Araceli's absolutely right. Kayla or Hope would probably be the ones, the proper relationship to be the one to be able to say that to Jennifer.
Yeah. And also, like we said, like not backpedaling, but if Jennifer wants to dislike Kat, she can also have that right too. It's really embarking that on other people, whether it's Thomas or like telling Chad or like there was like I even think the conversation she had with Julie this week where she said like, "Oh, do you know about him and Kat?" And Julie said yes, and then she said something like, "It's such a," I thought she was going to say, "Oh, I'm so disappointed," but no, she said it's such a betrayal, which is like such a different like feeling to take in it that she's used the word betrayal. And that's why I'm always like, okay, see, now she like not has ownership over Chad, but this thing you're like, okay, I have a say in this. He's doing this to us, and it's like it really has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, and that's the whole point that Kayla and Steve were trying to make, which was like your anger is taking over your life, and you're letting it take over other people's lives.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to say about this storyline is that when folks come from out of town into Salem and say they came straight from the airport. All she had was a purse. She didn't bring a carry-on. And I understand, and I'm not just saying this about Jennifer. It's where people come into town and we don't see them like. It would be great, like, to see people come into town like wheeling a suitcase through Horton Town Square and being like, I'm back, Salem. But we don't get that anymore.
Yeah. No.
And I'm just like, and I understand with Jennifer's case, she probably has shit at the house already, and she doesn't need to. She probably has a whole
like once every 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah, but just in general, it was just a little touch like that when you have characters return. Like I feel like when we get a character return now, it's like they've already been there for a couple days and we just haven't seen them.
Yeah,
but they like they're all immersed in Salem already. But unless they're actually at the airport, like when we got the Gwen Teresa switch, just a comment.
Yeah, no, it's also funny. I was thinking of that this week when it was like, oh, Jennifer's going to conduct these interviews about Tom Horton. And it was like, oh, that's a nice thing to do. Bring her into it. And then it was like she's talked to people she would probably regularly talk to on the phone. Like, you know what I mean? Like why come in? I don't know.
Why play? You could have just videoed. This could have been done over Skype.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what if they? Like, she's like, oh, I got to interview Julie. I was like, okay, probably talk to Julie. 5 times a week on the phone. Like,
5 times daily, probably. Julie's that busybody that, like,
calls everyone.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyways, happy 40th to Jennifer, to the character Jennifer Horton, to Melissa Reeves. I hope more positive things are in the future. Yes. And our final top storyline of the week was Rebuilding Titan. This is the Kiriakis boys and Maggie versus Tony. Yes.
I was surprised about this one. I thought
I'm trying to remember what all. I know there was the other than the scene in the DeMira mansion with Maggie and the three gents, where they were like, all right, we're basically they're like, we'll just undo the merger. You take DeMira, we take Titan, we all go live our happy lives. And then what's his face being like, well, you're taking back Titan as a blah 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 blah. And they're like, we don't give a fuck, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's the part that surprised me, because previously they made it seem like Tony very much wanted Titan too, so that he was going to get DeMira and then go after Titan. So the fact that it was just like, you can have DeMira, backsies, I guess. Like, we'll take our company, you take yours. And it was like, Tony didn't put up a fight. It was like, okay, I think the idea was he was like, your company's in shambles. I'll sweep in later and take it anyway from you at probably like a reduced price. He's sort of implying, but yeah. I mean, kind of anticlimactic, I guess. They're essentially back to square one. I guess the one thing we got is the Xander and Philip seem to officially be a mesh now.
And that's I mean, I think that's so far and away where maybe some of us thought this was going to end up, because we saw the sparks of it in the beginning when Philip first came back to town. But now at least amongst those two, everything's out in the open. You know, so for them to really solidify that partnership, I mean, it's sad to say, but Victor being gone at this point is kind of like,
Lord, if Victor been alive with all this mess.
I'll say it this way. Victor, for all the love we had for Victor, he did not do any good for these young men, because he constantly pitted them against each other. With his children, with his grandchildren, it was just toxic. The expectations that he put on them, and then they were constantly feeling they were unable to deliver on the legacy that he wanted for them. Now it seems like they are gearing more towards a more positive light, where we can honor Victor's legacy, but we can also honor our bond, and how we choose to move forward with it is our choice.
Yeah. I'm curious. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I still love that they brought Maggie into the fold, and they're keeping Maggie into the fold. And she was almost like, when they came, I got the feeling like she was almost leading the charge, even though like it's been Xander and Philip. I feel like now that she came in and she was kind of like almost running things. I appreciate that. They're kind of giving Maggie like some power now and something to do other than cook fucking lemon bars. So I appreciated that.
I'm getting a sense this is going to be the beginning of Demira versus Kiriakis, whatever that looks like in the future. It seems like we're getting Xander, Philip, Maggie now coming back to help out full time, I guess. We'll see if Brady is still there. We know Alex is there. And it seems like on the Demira side, now that he has Demira, I'm guessing that includes Gabby's back. Then we have the Theo situation, which we're still sorting out. So it looks like that is going to be the nuclear, maybe Demira family. We'll see. I don't know. As business wise versus the Kiriakis. I kind of like that matchup. Like,
it's
Xander, Philip,
classic.
and Maggie versus Tony, Theo, and Gabby. Should be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's definitely some rebuilding to be had on both sides. While Demira might be more financially solvent, Titan has the more core family dynamics in place.
Totally.
So it's a lot
Can I ask a question?
of work to done. Yeah.
Who has the Versavix now? The thing that started this whole thing. Who has it now? EJ has it, right?
Oh yeah, EJ has it with the hospital.
EJ has it at the hospital. Neither Titan nor Demira Enterprises.
No.
Okay,
no,
I needed a.
It was really EJ versus Titan, not Demira versus
but
okay,
it was
true.
made clear that it was made clear, and Rafe found this out in his investigations, that the money that EJ used to
and that's why they were
get the hospital. That's why that investigation started, was because they investigated whether Demira assets had been put into play by the hospital, and they did not. They just don't know they don't know where the money came from at this point, where we the audience know it came from Gwen.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that reminder, Araceli. That was, and Justin, that was very helpful.
Yeah.
I just had a thought. I was like, wait, this all started over that who's got it? I don't remember.
So basically Gwen and EJ own Versa theoretically, since they technically own the hospital.
So maybe that's going to come into play again somehow, where like either Demira or Titan decides to try to partner, or EJ tries to that could be another
partnership with Demira in that sense.
there's still a lot that could be explored with it. I don't think this is going to be the end of anything. There's so many. There's like you were talking about Gabby and Theo, EJ in the hospital. So still a lot more potential with this. So far, I feel like this is the what am I trying to say? In terms of like the Demira Enterprises or Titan storylines that they've done, I think this is the one I'm mostly into, because it's not just EJ and Stefan having a pissing contest. Maybe that or like it's not Philip and Xander having a pissing
contest. Fighting, or Sunny sometimes, or or Maggie or Alex.
It's not just watching the families infight with each other.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and then briefly Sarah, which was Sarah, I believe she had the line of the week, and I would urge both Xander and Philip to follow her advice when she said, "Knock him dead, just not literally."
Yeah.
He was like, "I won't."
Yeah. It was cute.
I'm curious if that was like
an ad lib.
If that was an ad lib, or if that was scripted, or if her line was scripted, but the kind of off camera, I won't. If that was,
we could probably ask Paul, and he'll tell us in 5 minutes. Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Yes. And those were your top storylines of the week. Before we get into our tidbits, I want to remind everyone to please follow us on social media. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook, at Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on X and Threads. Also, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching us here anyway, click the subscribe button. Also, click the like button on this and any of our other videos that you choose to watch. Make sure, if you're not a member and would like to join our exclusive members only page for $4.99 a month. You can get access to exclusive content that we get from Days of Our Lives, as well as any of our behind the scenes shenanigans and our segments. And please make sure that if you cannot follow us or watch us live, that you follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio to catch up with us whenever it is convenient for you. And make sure to hit up JLJ Media on YouTube, which is led by our wonderful friend, James Law Jr., and he covers all of the remaining daytime soaps.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And now on to our tidbits, where we have the return of returns that we saw at the end of last week. Looking for a second chance. Here comes Jeremy Horton. Played by the lovely Michael Rourke. We've heard nothing. Let's be clear. We've heard nothing but nice things about Michael Rourke. I believe I saw an interview with Abigail Klein at the 60th a celebration for that the Days of Our Lives had for the Broadway, the Broadcast Hall of Fame, and she did mention Michael Rourke and working with him, and that he is lovely, and she feels very trusted and safe with the material with him. So this is a new Jeremy Horton that we're seeing, or is it?
Yeah,
I guess
that is the question.
I mean, as of now, we can only take what we're getting. We can only take what we're getting as at face value. For Stephanie, it's a little different. She's always going to have it in her mind that he's probably not performed. He's probably, get over that trauma is not going to be easy for her. And, they've established her and Alex very well. And, we were talking about last week, the scenes with Stephanie and Alex just kind of solidified them as a couple. So she has protection. She's got some muscle. And I think Alex could take him if he needed to.
Absolutely. And I think somebody in the comments mentioned, I think somebody in the comments mentioned that Alex might be jealous. I don't think jealousy has anything to do with it. They're very it's very their relationship is secure, and it has nothing to do with him being an ex. It has to do with the fact that he was abusive. That's anger.
If anything, Alex is going to be in protective mode, not jealousy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I liked what we saw. I like what was presented to us. in terms of Jeremy Horton. If we're taking him at face value now, he seems mature. Seems like he acknowledges his mistakes. I think he did the right thing by apologizing, sort of telling or making Stephanie aware of how much he's changed and his life's changed and all that kind of stuff. It sort of remains to be seen. Mm-hmm. I don't know about the asking for a second chance. I didn't really understand that. Was he saying just second chance to be cordial with each other? Or was he like trying to imply them getting back? I don't know. It was really weird. I didn't sort of understand that at the end. It was sort of tacked in at the end. I was like, wait, what is he actually asking her for?
I guess I took that as a second chance to just see him in a different light. Okay. Not necessarily second chance to be like booze again.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of confused by that. But no, I guess that makes sense. Just because, again, Salem is so damn small, they're probably going to run into each other 5 times a week. So, yeah.
And now with him being Thomas and Rachel's teacher, that's another layer. And that was addressed. We did bring up the point last week that you're really not supposed to be a teacher if you have a criminal record like his. That was explained in his explanation to Stephanie, that he worked out a deal and he did some kind of work with the authorities that I guess expunged his record.
Yeah.
He got that Kristen DeMira immunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see if I'm curious though, because we talked about they can go either way. They're also like, it's been 10 years since we've seen Jeremy?
Longer than that. 2000.
No, it's been almost 20.
Yeah.
No. 20 years? Yeah. No.
18.
No, we're in 2025.
2007.
Oh, it's okay, maybe. Okay.
Yeah, it's been almost
18. It's like 17, 18.
Okay.
Yeah, 17, 18 years.
They can go with he's a villain and he's just playing her, or they can go with he's a completely different person, but the past haunts him. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
There's different ways to go. It's been so long that you could also see him as a completely different character now, not just because he's played by a different actor, but he's at mid-30s to almost 40 now. Like, kind of going around screaming at him about things he did when he was 24. I don't know how well that's going to land. I also think there's like the mystery now of people finding out Stephanie's side of the story. Julie doesn't know. Jennifer does. Really, no one knows outside of Kayla and Steve, and they only have a portion of it. I feel like the only person who knows the whole story that's still on canvas now is Alex, which is truly the only person who knows is Stephanie, because she did not give Alex details. She told him he was abusive, but then he never laid a hand on her. Mm-hmm. And that was as much as she told him, which is basically as much as Kayla and Steve know. The extent to how long the abuse went, as I said last week, the only person other than Stephanie who she might have confided in might have been Chelsea Brady. Yeah.
And she's not here. So there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to uncover. And this is very much going to be a time will tell situation. And the one thing I will say is Steve made the right call in asking Rafe to help him run a background check.
Yeah.
Because Steve, I think, and we've said, things have been in the past about maybe Steve meddling a little too much in Stephanie's love life, but this is where he is 100% in the right, where he's not interfering in her life. He's not, going to say, you stay away from my daughter type of a thing. He's going in forewarned is forearmed.
Yeah. This one is more of an actual safety issue that,
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like my child can take care of herself. She's in a stable relationship with a guy who clearly loves her and can look after her, but I need to know if she's actually in danger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm excited though.
Yeah, and another big reckoning from the past this week was the continuation of the JJ and Theo kind of not flashback, but very much a jarring experience that they had last week during the blackout that led JJ to consider turning in his badge to Jada. What do we think about their conversation starting there?
I loved it. I thought it was fair. Like, I like that Jada was in support of him, and but also looked at it objectively and offered to give him some time and counseling and stuff. I like JJ at least thinking about it. We'll see how far it goes, but I like that Theo at least stirred up some things. And like we've said, we're sort of iffy about how this plot line is going to play out now. We're sort of revisiting it. And again, the stuff with Theo's recent history with JJ, we're like, okay, how much of that is being like hand waved and retconned? But I think they're addressing it now in an interesting way. And I think whatever valid points Theo has, I appreciate that JJ is at least attempting to think about them. Because I think originally we were like, oh, how this is still affecting him, and he's always been cool with JJ. They were business partners. But I think getting Theo's side the last couple of weeks, we may not fully agree with him, but we get him a little bit better. And so I think JJ is at least taking that seriously, which I appreciate. Whether or not he decides that he doesn't want to be a cop or he's good as a cop or whatever, but I like that he at least took it seriously.
Yeah, I appreciate that they're not trying to, like, on JJ's side of things, they're not trying to like excuse it in a way, you know, the event. They're not trying to be like, oh, you didn't, you know, it wasn't, you know, excusing it or giving him a pass. They're, you know, and seeing that JJ, you know, Jada was supportive of him, and they went through, it wasn't just blind support. She went through like point by point. Did you do this? Did you talk to anyone else? Did you talk to them in the same manner you talked to him? And she was like, well, it sounds to me like you did everything by the book. So, you know, but then she gave him the, you know, take some time off, go to we'll get you, you know, some therapy. And so I like the fact that, you know, it's not just being excused, it's being addressed in a proper manner. And I love, you know, I love that we got, you know, one thing I'll say, I'm tired of seeing Jada in that office. Like, they seem to have pigeonholed her as commissioner, like only in her office, like get her out. But I do like that she's kind of commanding the power, you know, and is reasonable.
Oh yeah.
And, so yeah, I appreciate how this is being handled, and it seems like it's being handled with proper sensitivity. So to not, you know, as to not discount someone's feelings over someone else's, they're kind of showing both sides of it. And yeah, I think it's being addressed in a good manner.
Yeah. And I hope that they follow through. And then we get to see some of maybe we don't necessarily need to see the therapy sessions, but I think that we need to touch on the fact that though Theo was the victim in that original incident, JJ suffered greatly because of it, and it would be very good for him to have continued therapy, especially if he continues to stay active on the force, because though JJ, I do believe JJ when he says he is a doubly careful and explicit and clear when he's on the job. However, what they alluded to, without really touching into it too deeply this week, but they did allude to the fact that, you know, because JJ jumped right to turning in his badge, JJ has always been a character that is harder on himself than any other people can be. Because he has JJ has messed up a lot, but he's also grown a lot. And when he's made a mistake, he has taken it to the extreme. Let's remember that after he shot Theo, he tried to commit suicide.
We saw the flashback, this week.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. They remind us he was absolutely destroyed over this. And if had Theo died, I don't think he would have recovered. So yes, just the mention of it, just the moment that they had during the blackout and he automatically says, I'm done, I'm turning in my badge. And it took Jada to say, stop, take a step back and walk me through everything that's going on, everything that's going in your head. Because if that's the process that you have on the job as that you're supposed to have, then that's also the process that you need to have just as you live your life. You can't be making impulsive decisions, even if it's for what you think is the better of someone else, without really thinking it through.
Yeah. I also liked the nuance of it too, of like, even though he sat down with Jada and they went through everything and he technically did everything right, we saw when they sort of recreated that scene with them recently with the blackout that there's also change that should still be made because Theo, again, is still autistic. He still is going to react that way.
Oh, yeah.
Again, JJ didn't draw his gun like he did. It wasn't as tense of a situation as the first time, but it's also a thing of JJ. You could tell JJ also didn't immediately stop and say, did it go through JJ's head? This person may have a disability. This person, there might be other things going on here. And I think that's the lesson to learn from the original one, where we're seeing like society may not have caught up there because like she's saying, did you do everything right? And he technically did everything right. The only difference with this one is he didn't draw his gun.
Yeah.
But it also wasn't a friendly interaction. Like it could, what I mean? Like it should have been. Like, so I think there's also room to like just make commentary on the procedures that we have that technically, if you do everything right, these things aren't up to par as maybe they should be. And maybe we should look at things a little bit differently for the world that we're in now,
Yeah. And I think that's an ongoing conversation where it could be JJ and Theo sitting down and having that conversation would, I think, be better. It would be better for everyone involved, for the show, for the department, for them as friends. Those are things that you can have those active conversations, and we'd love to see them.
Yeah.
And that's one thing this new writing regime is not shying away from.
So,
yeah. And then, but luckily for Theo, he has a lot of his mind, and luckily we got a potential new romance, which the new actor Tyler did say that he hinted. He didn't say. Don't want to get fired. He hinted that this was coming, that JJ could be potentially getting a new romance, and it's with Ari. Do we like this? I like it.
I don't have a strong opinion one way or another yet. I liked their interaction, and I thought that they were cute together. But the love interest or not, I'm kind of I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other.
Well, yeah, I mean, they just met. They don't know each other's last names. They have, they had a cup of coffee together. It was a classic meet cute, which actually was like it's kind of nice to see.
That part I liked. I liked the actors. I think there is chemistry. I gotta be honest, I'm a little weirded. She's freshly 18. He is not. I also think with this iteration, it seems like they're moving Theo, like we've been saying, into a more mature, sort of stable thing. So technically, I mean, yes, she's legal. I just don't know of the pairing in terms of age-wise, if it makes sense to me. Also, character-wise, if that's where they're going with a romantic pairing, just on face value of that. Also, with this idea, if we're supposed to look at Theo as a bit older now and more mature, if he's going to be a CEO or a established executive, it's a little young for me, even though I think the actors have chemistry and they're both good actors, so they'll make it work. But I don't know. It just something about it didn't rub me. Like I wasn't as excited as I would have been maybe if their ages were more compatible.
Yeah, I think you got hung up on that, but because we know the characters of Theo and Ari separately, but let me make a case for why I think this pairing could work very well. Because yes, Theo is coming back more mature. He's coming back more established in kind of getting his footing on his own. But Theo has also been a character who is, sad to say, kind of been for not for himself, but for all of the other characters on the canvas, frozen in time. A lot of the other characters look at him as Abe and Lexi's kid, look at him as, as the kid they watched grow up, as the little darling kid, all of these things that he is not anymore. He's had a life separate, and it's up to him to figure out what that is. That being said, he does lean more on the younger side in terms of his thinking, not in terms of the way that people perceive him, but in terms of he's a very straight shooter. And I think you saw that in that conversation with Ari, and that was what appealed to her about him, was that I could see it in her eyes as he was talking, just like being upfront, like, oh, I don't really like the coffee, and he's like, well, you can tell me that I didn't make it. That kind of a thing where it's like she's looking for more maturity in a guy. And that was what the thing with the all that nonsense with Doug the Third, where she's flat out told him, it's like, you could have just told me that you were interested in somebody else. You didn't have to play all these games. And that's who Ari is. That's the point that we've been establishing her as a character these last few months, is that she's not a character who likes games. She has been stuck in the middle of this stupid Holly and Tate stuff, and rolling her eyes and wondering how she got stuck in the middle when she was just trying to be a good friend. She's over the games. It's not what she wants in her life. And here comes along a very nice, mature young man. Yes, he's a little bit older in age, but he also is not a character who likes games. He's a straight shooter. He's very honest. So while the age thing and the history might not be equitable, the things that they are looking for right now in a potential relationship are.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see how it progresses.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm just kind of like, all right, they were cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's look, how often do we get like a simple meet cute? It doesn't always have to be.
It was a nice little possible intro to new. Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be, oh, you're related to this person. Oh, I know that person. Oh, that was my mom. And yeah, it could just be, hi, I'm Ari. Hi, I'm Theo. Nice to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right.
And that was your week of days. So we are going to be moving on to our segments. Tony is not here, so we will not have 3 snaps this week. So we will start with Michael Mattis's.
Caption that.
All right, this week's Caption That photo comes courtesy of Kayla Mary Beth Evans with her bitch what kind of look. This week's caption goes to Caroline May on Instagram with her captions. It just made me giggle. This shirt was painted by inmates at Bayview.
I think Caroline's in the chat too.
Oh, is Caroline in the chat? I am so sorry. I can't even. I'm dumb and I'm from Ohio. I can't pronounce that. I'm sorry. But Caroline May, thank you for your caption. It made me chuckle, and because it took me a minute. I was like, the shirt. Then I looked at the shirt and I was like, that's good. Like it. Like I love it.
Yeah. Cute.
And next up we have
And
that was sorry, skipping ahead.
Caption that.
And next up we have
All right, everyone. I'm taking you back. Oops, where's my bag? Taking you back to October 7th, 1994, when Celeste drugged Gina, who had another Hope memory, convincing Bo that she was, in fact, Hope. You guys remember this? This is Gina, not Princess Gina. This is Gina before Hope, which we always have to establish because Kristen Alfonso has played like 5 different characters on the show. And I think people bunch them together sometimes during this whole Princess Gina saga. But this is, in fact, Kristen Alfonso as Gina before she was revealed to actually be Hope. And I did a Those Were Days extended on this, which you can check out right after the show. And I kind of did it on specifically the relationship between Celeste and Gina / Hope. It was so interesting. I think it sort of helped us usher in Celeste as a much more viable character. Before that, she was like Stefano's, not henchman, but sort of confidant, number one person kind of a thing. And it's this storyline that helped sort of bring her to the forefront. And her and Kristen Alfonso really did a lot of really great work during these years where she was trying to figure out who she was. And so I kind of want to shout that out. Unfortunately, it was annoying because this is like, you know, the Princess Gina storyline is like a 7-year storyline that happened on Days. And it took me forever to find pictures with them. There's no, you know, sometimes I get publicity photos. There's none of them two together. And I just wanted something with like Kristen Alfonso and Tanya Boyd. It was so hard to find. But yeah, go check out Those Were the Days Extended. But that was October 7th, 1994, when Celeste drugged Gina.
And
that
had the little diary, and she would like recite. I remember that. I remember my mom watching and being like, "What is going on?"
Yeah. About an umbrella. Those like one of the great umbrella storylines of the 90s.
That took years.
On and on. They would not let that horse die. Anyway.
And that's so many different facets.
And that was
Those were the days.
And now it's time for
It's a gift.
This week's It's a Gift. And I'm going to steal this from this line from one of our audience members. I don't know who it was. You could shout out it if it was you. But this was Sarah doing her best impression of a Black mom.
A Black auntie.
Of a Black auntie this week with this move.
I can't remember who it was. I saw it in the chat too. It's like Sarah brought out the Black auntie in her.
Oh my god.
Accurate. Very accurate description. Thank you for that.
Aunties in general, though, they can be
right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Although I have to be in a mood. I have to be in a real mood to do that. I will say. It's been rare. So
it happens. It's rare, but it happens.
Yeah.
It happens. Yeah, it does happen. Not often though, thankfully. So that was
It's a gift.
God, imagine being on the other end of a Araceli tirade. Oh my goodness. Actually, I feel like we have probably.
Oh my god, no. One day I'm gonna introduce you to my nieces. I'm gonna ask, because now I'm actually genuinely curious. What was the one time, because I think I know what it is. What was the one time that you were actually like afraid of me? And I think I know when it was.
Who, me?
No, my nieces. Yeah.
Oh, your niece. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, because it's like because they know it's like there's a lecture and there's like I'm pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right. And that was It's a Gift. Mm-hmm. And now we move on to
news and gossip.
All right, starting off with some casting news. You've probably heard by now that Greg Vaughn has been cast in Beyond the Gates. A rep for the show has confirmed that Greg has joined the soap for the new season. I previously, of course, worked with creator, showrunner, head writer Michelle Valjean on GH. And then Greg has also now commented that this is a new character for him. It's a brand new adventure and one that he is very, very excited about. So big congrats to Greg Vaughn here, who's joining Beyond the Gates. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
his
sure
go check out his Instagram that he did like a full 2+ minutes, couple minutes explanation on that, and I thought it was so eloquent, and really showed why he's just gonna make such a great addition to that show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like he's excited, we're excited, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were also paying attention this past week, Paul Telfer and Dan Fiergo participated in the Blue Jacket Fashion Show once again. This is an annual fashion show benefiting prostate cancer awareness. I believe that they participated in the last couple years together as well. So go check out I believe they have a video up on the Days of Our Lives social media as well, showing it, and it was such a cute event. I really liked it. Yeah, so it benefits prostate cancer. Go check that out. And next up, Deidre Hall is the latest cast member to take a walk down memory lane to reminisce about her tenure as Marlena, particularly when she started during the 70s and 80s. This is very poignant and very especially to her, because she discusses working with her departed co-stars now, Wayne Northrup and Drake Hogeson, who both passed in the last year. And she is, still there and still taking names, and, she's there to tell all the stories, and we are here to hear all of them. So thank you, Deidre, for honoring those decades on Days of Our Lives.
Yeah, and next up for events, we have a new one. This one from Starstruck Fan Events. They have added a Misery Loves Company after party event, and this is the Misery play that we told you about, that starring Julie Dove and Sean Ferris, who is Sherry Jimenez's husband, if you're not familiar with Sean. But they are Starstruck is hosting a after party for the Sunday, February 15th matinee show. And more information to come. I actually think they may have put up something while we were on the show, because I think someone texted me a flyer. So yeah, I couldn't get to it fast enough, but go check out at Starstruck Fan. They'll have the information up there and information to come. But yeah, if you happen to be in LA and we're going to check out these Misery plays starring Julie Dove and Sean Ferris, you can, maybe you might want to hang out for the after party and go to that. So yeah.
Yes. Okay. So they posted a cast list now. It's going to be Julie Dove, Sean Ferris, Paul Telfer, Lindsay Godfrey, Kennedy Garcia, Remington Hoffman, and Adam Huss, who was the most recent to play Nicholas on General Hospital. So
oh my gosh.
$250 for a VIP ticket. VIP sponsors $500. StarstruckFanEvents.com for more info. An exact location is not. Tickets on saleable. Tickets on sale tomorrow at noon, February 15th, 2026. Limited seats available. StarstruckFanEvents.com. An exact location is not available, but it's going to be, somewhere here in La La Land.
Yeah. And also, the tickets for Misery go on sale tomorrow, the 13th, for $35, and you can get those at miseryplayla.com.
Nice.
Yeah, interesting mix there.
Yes, I think that this is going to be such a fun play. We've already seen Julie; she's got the Misery in her. I think we made several allusions to that movie during her time on the show, so she's got this.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yes. And that was
news and gossip.
And before we leave you, let's take a look at the promo for this week's coming episodes of Days of Our Lives.
How do I make sure that Kat and my dad stay broken up? It's easy. As long as Cat's in Salem, I won't be.
Goodbye, Salem.
Holly! Holly! The baby is not mine. Just please don't get on that plane.
I'm Alex, Stephanie Johnson's boyfriend. Stay the hell away from her.
I'll be working at Demira Enterprises.
You most certainly will not.
I'm happy with the clinic's progress. Once construction is complete, this lab will be impenetrable.
Oh.
Tell us how you feel, Justin.
No, that wasn't related to the preview.
No, we just hired. Yeah. So we will try to touch on all of those things when we come back. But as we said, we will not. Yeah, we will not be here next week.
Why?
It was your fingers. I don't know. You made a motion and the balloons just appeared.
I forgot. Remember this happened before? I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's funny. 2 weeks is what I was trying to say.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay. 2 weeks left till a new show. So we will not see you next week on Dishin Days. We will see you the following week. So that will be October 26th. October 26th. We will be back with a brand new episode of Dishin Days. Until then, make sure to follow all of us on our social media channels. Michael Mattis, where can the folks find you?
You can find me on Instagram and X at MLMattis and at MLImagesLA.
Yes. Justin Lee Hareld, where can the folks find you?
Find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Tia323 Araceli. And you can find Tony everywhere at Lounging with Tony. And make sure to follow us on all of our social medias, particularly this coming week. It's Emmys week, guys. Exciting. We're Dishin Days Show on Facebook, at Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on Twitter and Threads. Thank you so much, everyone, for following us and for enjoying our time together today. We'll be back again 2 weeks.
And good luck to all of Days' nominees at the Emmys on Friday.
Yes, we're so excited. It's going to be such a fun time. Let us know.
How did you do it that time?
Maybe.
Now doesn't want to do it. Okay, fine.
Okay. Yes. So we're going to have a fun time. We'll let you know. Please, everybody, watch, support. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.